Hello, welcome to Spurs Play. A pivotal game today for our under-18s as they prepare to face Aston Villa. Two teams in with a shout of winning the league. Really is competitive right up at the top with 6 teams. Southampton, Arsenal, Chelsea, Palace, Villa and Spurs. All having a realistic shot of the title. If Spurs or Villa are to go on and win it though, they will have to do it the hard way. We both have 4 games in hand on top side Southampton on account of both Spurs and Villa having really excellent cup runs. Villa have made the FA Youth Cup final. And of course, what a brilliant week for Spurs, winning the Premier League Cup final at under 17 level. Does mean there is a bit of a fixture pilot though at the end of the season. Let's have a look at the teams. We'll start with Spurs. Sam Archer is back in goal after Blake Iro got the nod in the Premier League Cup final matchup. It's a back two of Byfield and Upson, with Hardy still not fit to start. The hero of that cup final matchup with a hat-trick was, of course, Luca Williams-Barnett. So important for this group over the season, and always the one that Spurs look to make things happen. Ellis Lehane in a competitive battle to decide who is the number 9, gets the nod again ahead of Elliot Paris, who is on the bench. Aston Villa have a number of England under-17s in their group. Their goalkeeper Asamoah and also striker Jack McGrath, who scored 2 in 2. Leo Ruth, well, he plays for the England under-18 group and is certainly one to watch out for the future. Well, 8 days on from lifting the Premier League Cup trophy, Spurs under-18s back in action in the league. This group now fixing their focus on a league title, and there is a realistic shot for Spurs of winning this league. 6 games remain, and this one really matters. Aston Villa, title rivals. This will be a battle. Well, the difficulty for Spurs might be raising their levels after what was a brilliant matchup in that Premier League Cup final win. Took place at the Lamex, and as Teenan Thompson said on Spurs Play in his interview this week, there were some nerves, and those nerves had to be settled with a bigger crowd than normally we would expect. It's all about experiences for this group. And this is another one that they can add to their repertoire. Winning a cup final, no time really to reflect on that all too much. Just have to get on with things, and there is plenty to be getting on with here. But this group, well, they were superb in that cup final win. You can watch the highlights back if you've not seen it yet on Spurs Play. Really raised their game in that matchup against Charlton. Stuart Lewis spoke ahead of that match to me about wanting this team to have a platform to be the best version of themselves. Certainly as players, they were the best version of themselves on the pitch that night. It will be Spurs who get us started here. Referee will make his final checks. And away we go. Well, this will really give us a good indication of how far this Spurs team have come this game here against Aston Villa. Back in September, Villa comfortable winners, a 2-0 victory for them. But Spurs are a very different team from the one that we saw at the start of the campaign when they did struggle. But this is a young group, lots of first-year scholars who have really grown over the course of the campaign. We really saw that in the final win at the Lamex. And it's an opportunity for them here this afternoon to show how much they have grown and how much they have come along. And Elijah Upson certainly typifies that, starting alongside Byfield at the back. And here is Williams Barnett, the Spurs number 10. What a night for him the other night in a season of brilliant moments. Really delivered and stepped up in a big moment, as big players so often do. Promising signs. Of course, a long way to go for all of this group. Plenty of steps to be made between here and first team action, but they are showing good signs. In particular, Williams Barnett, who scored that sparkling hat-trick. And here is Teenan Thompson, who got things started for us in that cup final matchup with a brilliant assist for the Spurs number 10. They work really hard together, have a lovely relationship, and off he goes with that wonderful low centre of gravity. Luca Williams Barnett showing good skills and feeding through, and unable to find a teammate on this occasion. And Aston Villa can break. And it's Max Lott, who is the number 9 for Aston Villa, being looked after here by Upson. And now Linsky. They play some good football, Aston Villa. They've been brilliant all season long. They've reached the FA Youth Cup final this season. That will take place in May, but that takes some doing. Very highly sought after by every single club at this level. Spurs were very disappointed to be knocked out this season in that competition. Aston Villa have marched towards the final. And they are unbeaten in 6 games. They've been brilliant at the end of the campaign, and they've given themselves a shot of winning the league. They have a few more points than Spurs. There are 6 points between us in the table. And they really are title rivals. They have a free kick here, Aston Villa. Referee not happy with this challenge from Williams Barnett on his opposite number, Alfie Linsky. And this is the first proper test coming up for the Tottenham Hotspur defence. And it's a curling effort, well turned away by the impressive Junaid Byfield. Sam Archer is back in the team and back in goal. Blake Iro given the chance to develop and was given the cup games over the season. Sam Archer has been the number 1 in the league. Spurs passing out from the back, have given the ball away. Aston Villa trying to create the chance, which they will do. Byfield with the block. Here is Williams Barnett, over halfway. And with the outside of the boot, finding Thompson on the left-hand side. Thompson cuts in as he loves to do and cuts the pass. Williams Barnett had continued the run. Well looked after by TJ Carroll, the Aston Villa centre-back. Spurs have a first corner of the game, though. And punch back well after Aston Villa were having a good spell at the other end. Luca Williams Barnett fizzing in the delivery, and Elijah Upson unable to bring that one under control. And Aston Villa, well, they should have got the ball away. They've made a mistake to give that one away. Teenan Thompson onto it, and his cross duly dispatched. Samal Bangura played a number of different roles over the season. The Spurs number 2 here this afternoon. On the left side of the Spurs defence right now. See how that develops. Normally Harry Byrne plays over on this left. Well, there is Harry Byrne, and he is up in midfield. So a bit of a switch around for Spurs at this stage of the game. Bangura skips the challenge. Thompson, tidy in possession, had two for company, but he skips away. And he's still going here, Teenan Thompson. Really grown in confidence over the course of the season. Had a good chat with Stuart Lewis about Teenan Thompson ahead of the cup final. And it was a glowing report. Spoke about how he's so determined to be the best version of himself. Spurs look as though they have unearthed a real talent in Teenan Thompson. Certainly has the attitude. That attitude will certainly take you a long way in football. No Malachi Hardy at the back again for Spurs, who has been such a brilliant performer for this group over the course of the season. Byfield and Upson are together, so a slightly different partnership than the one we have seen over the campaign. Good work by Villa on the edge of the Spurs area. Now here is Mully. Mully is challenged by Byrne and Thompson, who can bring the ball away. Going to have to be a disciplined performance here from Spurs. You can feel that. Archer did well under pressure to get that one away. Spurs won't change their style. They will play the way that they always play. And sometimes that is high risk. Williams-Barnett can't navigate through what is a pretty congested midfield. As we've seen with the Spurs group over the season, there have been some pretty mad scores. 6-4 with Arsenal, 5-3 against Brighton. Aston Villa actually have the best defence in the league by quite some way. We'll have to work hard here, Stuart Lewis's group, to break this team down. Hasn't had a chance yet on that left-hand side, Teenan Thompson, to see if he can go on the outside of the fullback. Has shown over the season that he has the ability to go one way and the other. Trayvon Mully here on the right-hand side for Aston Villa. Burgess. And Quinn is wearing 8. Leon Ruth is the player that was spoken about ahead of this game to me most. The number 5 for Aston Villa. Already playing for the England under-18 group. Bangura's moved back across towards the right-back position. Harry Byrne here on this left-hand side, reverting back to left-back, the number 3 for Spurs. And it's been a tight contest so far in the opening 10 minutes or so, as perhaps we would have expected to see between two teams who have a lot to play for. Would be wonderful to see this Spurs group have a good fight for the title and give it a go. I speak so often at this level about how it's about developing and moving on your skills, but of course, winning is a pretty good habit to get into. Tina Thompson delivers the ball in, and we'll see it drop. Spurs are trying to find room for the shot. Feeney looking for space for Bangura on the right-hand side. He has to retreat. Good defending by Aston Villa. Thompson. Squeezing between two. Driving run from him. Will cut back, and this is what he can do. Left foot and right, this time right. And this time a good save from Asamoah, the goalkeeper. Nice flash of pace. Nice confidence as well from Tina Thompson. Not this time, though. Well, Spurs have a free kick in a very good area here. Saw Harry Burns score a wonderful goal in the Premier League Cup final. And so we know what he can do with his left foot. Williams-Barnett also over this one. And given the angle here, might be the favoured option. Will be Williams-Barnett. That's a wonderful delivery. Bit too close to the goalkeeper, but it was fabulous technique. And sliding in is Feeney, who does well to get there. Another brilliant day for our academy boys who are out on loan at the moment. Came yesterday, lots of football in the Football League and lots of Spurs players out in the Football League on the next stage of their journeys. Jamie Donnelly with another 2 assists in League One, and Leyton Orient with a win. Looks as though they might make the playoffs, which would be wonderful growing experience for those players who are there. Josh Keeley as well, the goalkeeper. And looks as though that will be a yellow card, and it will be a yellow card. And another Spurs free kick in a very good area. Rodrigo Fortes is the one who is penalised. Well, it's almost exactly the same position from where Harry Burns scored at the Lamex in the final the other day. This time he will chip and it will go all the way through. Bit too much, only just, but there was a bit too much pace on that ball. It goes all the way through, out for a goal kick. Spurs are attacking. Ellis Lehane. Well, he's had a habit over the season of scoring in the big games. He feels there was a deflection there. Maybe the replay will give us a better indication. Lovely first touch. Got the ball out from under his feet, and he's got a case there. Should have been a corner. Look back over the course of the campaign. Ellis Lehane has scored against Arsenal, West Ham, Palace, Chelsea, Fulham. Scored in the semi-finals too of the Premier League Cup competition. Scores in the big games. And that may have found a way through were it not for the sliding challenge from the Aston Villa defender, as Asamoah, the goalkeeper, received some treatment both sets of players will come to the side of the pitch. Aston Villa started the game really well, but Stuart Lewis, I'm pretty sure, will be very happy with the way that the Spurs team have responded here. They were pretty gung-ho, this group, at the start of the season. We see that a lot with young players. But they really have developed, and Stuart Lewis and Bradley Allen, who do love the attacking side of the game, have been making sure that they focus on clean sheets and making blocks. In his words, he is trying to build some accountability for this group. Now, he must be delighted with what he's seen over the last 2 or 3 years at Spurs, responsible for bringing through that wonderful group that included George Abbott and Jamie Donnelly and everything that came with that. And now, in his words, a more challenging group. Said that on Spurs Play the other day, but well, equally as successful, because they've gone on to win a cup. And there will be a determination here to give themselves a chance of winning and lifting the league trophy. Now, it looks as though the goalkeeper will be okay. We do see a lot of tactical breaks in games where the goalkeepers seem to have an injury. Even at this level, it tends to happen. Aston Villa will break clear, and McGrath has pulled out wide. Bangura is on cover. Chipped into the Spurs area, Byfield's header, and it was enough of a touch. And it's Williams-Barnett who is happy to backtrack and hook the ball away. And Spurs have some safety.
We're not a bad side, actually. We're just not quite good enough.
Terrible.
We've saved a lot of people, I think.
So, yeah. I know you got Burnley and Sheffield United battle on TV this weekend.
Yes.
Well, Spurs were scrambling slightly. Have managed to get the ball up into midfield. Williams-Barnett quickly through. Lehane is away here. Manages to recover the ball and get the shot away. Looks as though he'd lost the chance for a moment. Still alive here. Teenan Thompson for Spurs. That is a really brilliant save by the Aston Villa goalkeeper, Asamoah. Quickly across. He makes a very good save. Spurs are still pushing. Teenan Thompson controls well, slams in, big chance. And he will get another go, Ellis Lehane. Somehow that has stayed out. And somehow the scoreline is still at 0-0. Miracle Adewale, skillfully done. Lehane will leave it. Nobody there waiting in Spurs colours, so. And Aston Villa send away. Well, a good spell for this group. Well, they could so easily have scored. Can't get too frustrated. Aston Villa are a top team. They are certainly likely to be up there come the end of the season. They've got a good chance. They put it wide, though. Linsky bursting clear. Had the option to go left or right. Decided to go down towards the bottom corner. And wide on the target this one goes. At the other ends, What an effort from Thompson, and how about that for a save? Big block from Aston Villa's keeper, keeping the scoreline level. Both teams have had their chances. Aston Villa are about to have another one here. Well, they were about to have one. Good recovery, though, by Junaid Byfield. Steps across.
That's really pretty, isn't it? You on there? Yeah, from a height, because this one's so low. This hasn't moved from that corner. There's someone behind them. I can hit there. Someone behind them. I can hear. They've got the wing.
Miracle Adewale with a chance to get away. Well, there's the opportunity, and that's brilliantly taken. Placed in by George Feeney to give Spurs the lead. It's a really clever finish. Didn't really go for power in any way whatsoever. Saw the space down into that corner, caught everyone by surprise. And Spurs take a deserved lead here. And what a lovely finish that is from George Feeney. Spurs 1, Villa 0. Smart stuff from George Feeney. Has really grown as the season has progressed. Wasn't always the first name on the team sheet at the start of the season, but he's gradually become just a player quietly going about his business in midfield, but always delivering at a consistent level, a constant 7, occasionally raising up to an 8 or a 9, and that is a wonderful place to be. That finish was certainly up there as an 8 or a 9. And it's given Spurs the lead here against Aston Villa. Well, now it will be very interesting to see how they respond, because they have been a good team over the season, a really good team. They've had the benefit, too, of not only having a brilliant run and the confidence that comes from reaching the FA Youth Cup final, but also they've been in the UEFA Youth League, playing teams like Barcelona. And as we have seen in previous seasons with the Spurs players, that really does give you an opportunity to develop and test yourself against the best academies in Europe.
Oh, he came on. He came on into the game when they were like... Did the other Harry start at the back and then ended up front? You put him on up front, didn't you, the other day? I said, yeah, the other day they put him on up front format, didn't they? Oh, bless you. I love Harry. Oh, the horrible team. He's now said he's going to play all the children in the Premier League. He now said in the season he's going to play all the young ones in the Premier League because he's got to win the Europa League. But like we used to play, is that fair? So everyone else who's now going to play it.
Oh, Luca Williams-Barnett quickly onto it here. He's tried something audacious. He's done it again. How many times? Always ready to supply the audacious. Luca Williams-Barnett is there again for Tottenham Hotspur. Onto it in a flash here. And he barely had a look. But it was that quick glance up that gave him the knowledge that the goalkeeper was out of position, and Spurs have two, and it's him again, Luca Williams-Barnett. Well, a hat-trick in the Premier League Cup final really showed us what he is all about in the big games, in the big moments, and this is another one here as Spurs look to hunt down the league title. Consistently delivering at such a high level. Luca Williams-Barnett makes it two. Tina Thompson grabs hold of the ball for Spurs. There is a hunger and a desire here, and Spurs are in control. It's a massive gap at the top of the table, it has to be said. But because Spurs have these 4 games in hand, they do have the chance to win the league. They're going to have to put together a near-perfect run between now and the end of the season. And it really does look as though they're going to have to do things the hard way. There's a North London derby coming up. And it's going to be a very busy 3 weeks of football between now and the end of the season for this group. But this is the first step here. Had to make sure that this was a win. Started very well. Long way to go. But they are making some big strides, this team. Also have to play Chelsea and Fulham between now and the end of the season. Those will be tough games, big academies who are consistently playing at a very good level. Here come Villa looking to respond, but Sam Archer is quickly there. And he picks up the ball and quickly rolls away. Has got this really smart launch. The tricky feet of Luca Williams-Barnett into position. Lays the pass, bit too much on it. Hesitated before playing it, was thinking about the shot. Saw the run of Miracle Adewale. And the thoughts got in the way of his instinctive behaviour. And the move breaks down. Nice from Tina Thompson. So comfortable with the ball at his feet. And there's a perfect demonstration as he lays that one off. Feeney, who got us started with the goals, lays it back to Byfield. Spurs are relaxed, waiting for their moment to go up through the gears here, but they're not rushing. Showing good composure. Ball over the top is picked up by Ellis Lehane, who is offside.
I don't think I have any time.
Ellis Lehane looking for Miracle Adewale, who's got pace. Good defending though by Fortes. Although Miracle Adewale is not too sure that that should have been a free kick.
No, but they're all our thingy cars. They're our ball cars. She's always on it. Hey!
Williams Barnett darting clear. Was fouled. Referee tried to play an advantage. This is a real development for Spurs that we have seen within this group over the season. This measured way that they are knocking the ball around. Not chasing to attack, even though, of course, this team has that natural tendency to want to play in that way. Not the pass that Tina Thompson was hoping for. Space for the first time in a long time for Aston Villa, and Linsky can bring it forward and work it to McGrath. Quickly it goes wide. Fortes is there waiting, and well, that was wild. I think that might have been a shot, you know. Good bit of product placement for Flannery Diggers.
No, used to be the second hand.
Trayvon Mully. And now Linsky. Taken away by Thompson. Miracle Adewole drives the ball into the space. He's gone a long way here and he's still going and flashes one down towards that corner, and he really wasn't too far away. It was a super run by Miracle Adewole and it was nearly the perfect finish. Brilliant from the Spurs winger, lovely stuff. Just and only just wide. Well, Spurs have a free kick. Williams-Barnett is there. He's going to curl one. And I don't think that was quite what he was hoping for. Saw that space up towards the top corner, and I think that's what he was looking for there. Well, the referee wants play to stop because he wants to give a yellow card here to George Feeney. Well, it's been a perfect performance from Stuart Lewis's side so far. It's only really perfect if Spurs can keep it this way all the way through until half-time. Deeper delivery into the area does lead to an opportunity, but it will come straight back across. It's Mully again, this time to the edge of the area. Linsky finds the angle, big deflection. And Sam Archer didn't know too much about it, but he did make the stop.
They can have a ball look if they go behind. Yeah, the others are behind as well. Look, they've got a football.
Big deflection on that, and luckily it was straight at goalkeeper Sam Archer.
She'll know Ted's not playing because Jack was told.
Williams-Barnett's given the ball away, and Jenner is the Aston Villa midfielder who picks up. And look at Spurs again, and look who it is. Williams-Barnett, of course, feeding through, perfect pass. Teenan Thompson, what a save. What a brilliant save. Right at the last minute, Asamoah's leg comes from nowhere as Spurs look destined to score goal number 3. Looked in, didn't it? Some stop. Brilliant again from Luca Williams-Barnett in the build-up. He's been ever so good at stealing possession in good areas. Tottenham Hotspur corner. searching for goal number 3 before half-time. Byfield was lurking, Thompson is there. And it's Williams-Barnett who darts away from the Aston Villa midfield, but he can't connect with a Spurs teammate. Byfield battling. Feeney feeds on. Brilliant ball from Byfield to find Thompson, who is tricky and testing his turn this time. Doesn't quite work. He scrambled his way through. And he slides away and he delivers in. And Ellis Lehane has a glorious chance. And if anything, the pass came with a bit too much pace for him to do too much with. But he knows it was a good opportunity, and Spurs have had plenty of those. On a different day, it would be 4 or 5, leading by 2, Feeney and Williams-Barnett with the goals. Just have to be careful here to keep their discipline and make sure it remains like this all the way through until the break. Burn. Clever ball. It was one that was difficult for Teenan Thompson to control. Tried to improvise and bring it down somewhere between shoulder and chest. The ball through is well met by Sam Archer, who came out, saw what was about to develop. There's a lot to like about this group of Spurs players. If they can continue with this kind of attitude, it will serve them really well. You never really know what the next step will be like as you move up to the under-21s. There are big leaps to be made. Teenan Thompson said that in his interview, which I thought was really interesting, with Ben and Clive on Spurs Play, where he spoke about how much more physical it is when you do step up to that level, and how much more quickly you have to think. There is a big stride between the under-18s and the under-21s. But at the same time, when we saw that group that came through, went on to win the Premier League 2 title, Jamie Donnelly, George Abbott and the rest, you know, we knew when they came through from the under-18s that they were a special group, and there is a similar feeling. Completely different set of players, but well, this group could also be a very good group. A wonderful time at the moment within the Spurs Academy, and real credit has to go to the coaching staff. Stuart Lewis, Bradley Allen, Wayne Burnett too, for everything they've done and everything they continue to do. Williams-Barnett lifting through, looking for the run of Lehane. Swept away in the end by Asamoah, the Aston Villa goalkeeper.
He was on telly. I said, that's another one I used to watch. Now he's coaching him. No, that was Yanni. It's the brother. Look, no, he went to Norwich, didn't he? He was at Arsenal. We saw him at Arsenal, and then he left to go to Norwich. Norwich, no, his first team coach, because they wanted to give him the job. They would have sat
anyone.
Yeah, but then they said, well, no. They said when he came in, he got worse than when he came in January. They They said we got worse. We got worse in the team when he came in. Spent all his time injured, just now. Well, it's gone for the gap. We usually have him on the edge, don't we?
It's gone in the sand.
Well, the ball has gone through the gap.
Yeah, you must have
Don't
done.
think there are any ball boys back there.
There's 2 minutes left. Who told you that? I heard him ask the ref, and he said 2 minutes. Oh, here come one. Here come a spare one.
Yeah, but
But the goalie's missing, so we've got a card start.
So Sam Archer had to go.
Usually they have him on the edge, don't they, on cones?
Had a pretty quiet first half so far, Sam Archer. Spurs will be looking to keep things that way. Luca Williams-Barnett. Well, he might be small, but he's so strong. And off he goes, and down he goes. Now, more than anything from Jenner, that was frustration. A yellow card for him. And it was really all he had because he'd been well beaten by Luca Williams-Barnett. And this should be the final moment of this half. And Spurs work a move, but it's one that doesn't quite come off. And Upson has to tidy up and go all the way back to Archer. Miracle Adewole. He's got wonderful feet. He's kept hold of the ball here to find Byrne. Can't find Thompson. Upson driving out with Lott, who is still going here, still in possession, infield to Mully. Back out to Lott. Williams-Barnett fairly takes the ball away. Been really impressed by the way he's gone about his defensive work here, Williams-Barnett. Of course, we're talking about his attacking displays over the course of the season, but has really shown a willingness to get involved with the dirtier side of the game here. Of course, went up and trained with the first team this season and maybe learnt a bit about what's necessary and what's needed. A bit more physicality added to his game as Thompson gets onto it. And Thompson will go for goal. And that's saved by Asamoah, and that is the final moment of a brilliant first half. Arguably the best half of football that we've seen from this group over the season. He got things started. Feeney with a really well-placed goal, a very clever finish. And then Luca Williams-Barnett, well, he just keeps on flying. Stole possession, saw the keeper off his line, scored the second. Massive indication of how far this group have come over the course of the season. Beating title rivals Aston Villa here at half-time by 2-0. Well, we are back out and ready for the second half here between Spurs under-18s and Aston Villa under-18s on Spurs Play. Very good start to the game so far, and he got us going. George Feeney with a really lovely goal. And Williams-Barnett, well, his wasn't bad either, was it? Really impressed by the way that the group have recovered, because after that cup final win, I'm sure it would have been easy to not be able to raise their levels. And the gap is large on Southampton and Chelsea at the top of the table, but it's certainly recoverable for this group. If it stayed like this, if Spurs remained on top, they would cut the gap at the top of the table to 7 points, but Spurs would also have 3 games in hand. Away we go, second half underway. Aston Villa gets us started. Spurs on top, Feeney and Williams, Barnett with the goals. Stuart Lewis's side looking to continue their brilliant run of form. And they have really gone up a level at the end of this season. They were slow to start. And that's largely because the under-18s are made up of first-year scholars. There is a wonderful togetherness, though, within the group. And the coaching staff have worked ever so hard to make sure that this team understand what is required. So we started the season with a few defeats. Defeats against Aston Villa and Leeds. There was a 4-match run at the beginning of the season without victory, but this team are on it right now. Can expect that there will be a response from Aston Villa. We know it's coming here in the second half. They themselves have title aspirations. This will be a big blow to what's also been an excellent season for this Aston Villa group. Aston Villa corner. Well, the corner doesn't lead to too much. Aston Villa are pushing, though. They've started the second half pretty well. Big physical players like Carroll, whose delivery in is turned away. Burn back there. Burn's been beaten here and needed a helping hand, and Byfield was there to offer one. Tiernan Thompson well found by Williams Barnett. A step over this way and that, and he can go both ways, and he cuts it back, and he was looking to return the favour to Luca Williams Barnett, who'd made the run, was waiting inside the area for that pass to arrive. And that's the response that was needed here from Tottenham Hotspur, because they were on the back foot at the start of this second half. But just as they turn things in the first half, they look as though they are about to do that again. Williams Barnett can't navigate his way through this time. been an unstoppable force over the season. Aston Villa managed to stop that force on this occasion, and away they go and get themselves a free kick. And it's a yellow card for Ronnie Moncur. Well, Williams-Barnett quickly found he's on the run, and he can be so dangerous, and he very nearly scores again. Just the wrong side of the post, there was a deflection on it. Looked as though it was about to be 3. And you know he can be so special this time though, just wide, and only just wide of the target. Well, you have to be careful, of course, with young players about getting too excited about their talent, but it's hard not to be excited when Luca Williams-Barnett is concerned, as Tina Thompson is sent for a tumble, and Spurs have a free kick on the edge of the area, and this is in Williams-Barnett territory, although there will be a few who will fancy it from here, I'm sure, Thompson included. Luca Williams-Barnett, well, he never really got the dip on the effort that he was hoping for, and it goes over the bar. Just got caught up in the wind. That's a lovely interception. Ronnie Moncur stopped things, held things up as they were progressing nicely for Aston Villa. Tina Thompson is dragged this way in that. There's no whistle from the referee. Surely it has to go, and it does. Ellis Lehane scrambles, keeps on battling, wonderful determination, couldn't get the shot away. Has really grown over the season though, Ellis Lehane. He's always had an eye for goal, but it's his hold-up play and his overall growth as a centre forward has really developed over the season. And he's already had a taste of football at under-21 level, so he should be, as and when his time comes, and I'm sure it will, should be very ready to make that step up. Has been slowly integrated into that group. Aston Villa set to make a change. And maybe no surprise that Max Jenner, who's on a yellow card, is the one who is removed here. The Aston Villa midfielder, well, always looked on thin ice as soon as that yellow card came. It's been a key area of the pitch. And he makes way here as Aston Villa look to make a difference. Aston Villa progressing nicely. Well, the challenge was late and the referee had a long, hard look. Ronnie Moncur being penalised here. The challenge on the substitute Mead, leading to a penalty. Well, this is a big chance for Aston Villa to get themselves back into the game. Moncur protested his innocence. He was the wrong side of me when he went to get the ball. It was clever from the Aston Villa sub. Makes an instant impact here. Well, here comes Carroll for Aston Villa, and he has hit it straight at Sam Archer. And it is the reaction from Sam Archer that was needed, who momentarily didn't allow the emotion to spill out. And then, well, he just couldn't stop himself in the end. Watch at the end here. Well, that could be huge in the context of Spurs season. A long way to go in this game and in the campaign. Big defending, Upson, header away. Well, there has been lots of talk within this group about the spirit and the togetherness. And that's a very special thing, something that's tough to create. Here is Williams-Barnett. Still going, Williams-Barnett, drags the ball this way and that, and he's into position, and Williams-Barnett clips the bar. Well, he waited for just the right time for the goalkeeper to commit himself, but he didn't really have much room to work with, tried to get the ball up and down ever so quickly. Onto the bar it goes. Nearly another super moment for the highlights reel for Williams-Barnett, but it's onto the crossbar. But he really has delivered some moments over this season, that is for sure. And he's on his way again. It's Luca Williams-Barnett, this time trying to provide. And that's way over the top of the bar. Well, we hit the hour mark. And Spurs could so easily have been in a bit more of a dogfight here, were it not for the penalty save from Sam Archer. And then at the same time, it could so easily have been 3-0 because Williams Barnett nearly scored another. Nice challenge by Bangura. Well, the levels have been good from Spurs. Can they maintain them? That is the question here. Has been an intensity to this matchup. Clearly fired up, clearly fancy their chances of winning this league. And they knew here that Aston Villa would be a tough opponent. They've shown that with their results over the season. Substitutions for Spurs may prove to be key. Can those players come onto the field and inject that same level of enthusiasm that we've seen? Well, the first to go is Ronnie Moncur. And it's fresh legs in midfield as Jamal Beggs comes onto the field. And again, it's maybe another sensible decision with Ronnie Moncur on a yellow card. Jamal Beggs, though, has featured heavily over the course of the season and has always been an impressive performer. Elijah Upson has lost it. Byfield covering, helps out his defensive partner. A first touch for Beggs. And this is the thing, the game is being played at a pace and he was quickly smothered. It does take a while to get yourself up to the intensity level that's required as Williams Barnett sprays the pass and looks for Adewole. Well, there's that product placement again. I feel like they should have given me a tagline to go with. We'll dig you out of a hole. No, sorry. Spurs corner. Delivered to the far post beyond everybody. Byfield felt that he was held back as he was coming in. It would have been a soft one to give from the referee. Aston Villa bring the ball away, not for long. Spurs in. Tenacity, non-stop. Ball over the top. It looked as though there could have been an offside decision that should have been given there. Aston Villa with the chance to break. Is this their goal? Yes, it will be. Their number 9, Max Lott, scores for Aston Villa. And they are straight back into the game. Well, the assistant was onto it there. It did look as though Lott was a couple of yards offside, but of course the assistant had a better angle. Aston Villa allowed to continue. The goal has been scored. Spurs now need to make sure their heads are in the right place. Have been in control for this game, but Aston Villa will react. Goals change games. Well, Mead, the substitute, won the penalty, and now he's bursting clear, looking for the equaliser, and he very nearly scores it too. Spurs switch off, and Junaid Byfield is letting those ahead of him know that he's not so happy with the reaction. Bangura did enough here to get back. Well, he knows it was a chance. If Spurs keep defending like that, there'll be plenty more of them. Luca Williams-Barnett will be so important if Spurs are going to win this one here. There was a discipline about the way that Spurs were playing in the first half, and it's disappeared for now. Spurs need to rediscover that. Mead's made a real difference. Here he is again, looked after this time by Upson, who comes across. Aston Villa will have a corner.
Let's go.
Couple more changes are about to be made here for Tottenham Hotspur. Fresh legs as Batty is onto the pitch. Well, Spurs are chasing again, and Aston Villa are finding spaces where before they couldn't. Ups and rises, tidied up by Batty. Aston Villa's cross leads to the chance. Big block by Byrne. And tidied up by Williams-Barnett. Trying to get clear. Trying to keep hold of the ball for Spurs here, which is really important. Adewale goes back. And Spurs need this calm. Big 20 minutes coming up. Here is Teenan Thompson. Well found by Beggs. Thompson goes, delivers in, and can't find any of the Spurs players waiting in the middle. Picked up here by Byrne. Back out to Thompson. That's a lovely ball by Byrne and a wonderful take as well by Thompson, who's away. He delivers it very nearly foul. It will fall for a chance. Nice, well blocked by Aston Villa. Bodies back on the line. Here they come again, Tottenham Hotspur. Luca Williams-Barnett drives into traffic. Oh, Villa chance, well saved. Archer gets behind that. And that's well wide. Luckily for the Spurs defence. Meads with a touch, and what a chance. Well, the reaction here from McGrath tells a story. 2 goals in his last 2 games in the league, and the England under-17 international sweeps it wide. Thompson's touch. Williams-Barnett weaving, working the angle, waiting for the moment to get it back. There looked as though there was an arm in there from the Aston Villa defender. Be interesting to see the replay of that one back, but Spurs for now have possession, and Spurs really could do with another goal because Aston Villa look pretty dangerous whenever they break. Teenan Thompson again on the left-hand side, seeing plenty of the ball. Williams-Barnett back to him. Spurs number 11. Clips one to Batty. And it's a good header away by Bloomfield, the Aston Villa defender. Well, this looked as though it was destined for the back of the net from Spurs, but was there an arm in there from the Aston Villa defender? Certainly looked raised. Well, it was the post that came to the rescue. Curling delivery into the front post is turned away. Bangura didn't know too much about it, but he got the ball out from under his feet, went back to Archer. Now Williams-Barnett driving into the space. Well, there has to be a card there because that was an awful challenge. It will be a yellow for Linsky. Well, Williams-Barnett is going to be okay here, which is good news. I would say he's not the kind of player that you want to try and get underneath the skin of. Given everything he's done this season, it wouldn't be too surprising to see him now rifle this one up into the top corner, even from here. Well, skillfully done by Spurs. Not much room back there, that is for sure. Reece Elliott Paris, scrapping away. He's got a really good goal in the final of the Premier League Cup. Really impressed by him over the course of the season. Adewale. Well, he had two for company and always looked likely that he would lose the ball. I'm not sure how much of a foul that was, but there wasn't too much of an appeal from Jamal Beggs. That's a lovely touch. Reece Elliott Paris into Batty. Nico Williams, Barnett through the middle. Reece Elliott Paris is away. Another top save from Aston Villa's goalkeeper to deny him the chance to give Spurs some breathing room. Well, Stuart Lewis's group did just about everything right here, and it's a smart reaction from the keeper. Batty, a curling ball sent away. Well, Spurs street clear. Reece Elliott Paris again is the one who is in behind. And Williams Barnett has a corner kick. His curling corner goes all the way through, again caught up in the wind. Well, the Aston Villa goalkeeper is down here, as he was in the first half when Aston Villa wanted a break to bring all of the players to the side. And maybe there is an injury here, but we've already seen it once in the game. This time looks as though there might be a bit more pain, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But it does offer the opportunity for the players to come to the side of the pitch. And Stuart Lewis will be able to impart some words. Has said that wants a team this season to dominate the ball. They are first-year scholars. They don't want to get caught up too much in a physical battle because they're not quite there yet. There is a leap between this year and next. An energy gel or two might just do the trick, might just carry Spurs over the line. Spurs could be in, and it's smart thinking from the goalkeeper. And Williams-Barnett was offside anyway. Back underway. Remarkably, the goalkeeper for Aston Villa is completely fine. That was a big header by Upson, a brave header. And Spurs will get the free kick. And these stoppages in play, if anything, will only help Spurs. Working down the clock, making sure that this ends in 3 points. That was a loose pass given away by Beggs. Aston Villa onto it here, and now they've got the chance to break. Mead will go for goal, and Archer dives across and prevents the corner kick. Well, it's good work from Spurs, getting the ball into tight spaces and managing the game. And these are just lessons, not sending the ball into dangerous areas of the pitch. Williams-Barnett has 2 for company, but he also had Byrne, who was there in support, lifting one over the top. Aston Villa step up. That's a nice ball in. Oh, what a save on the line. Aston Villa are claiming a goal. Nothing given here. What a big moment in the game. As good as scoring a goal. Well, this was heading in until Janai Byfield got some vital toes on it. Luca Williams-Barnett gets the yellow card for kicking the ball away. Well, what a season Janai Byfield has had, recognised within the England setup. He's been a really classy operator at the back for Spurs. He's a big talent, plenty of promise. He might have some more work to do here, and he does, and he makes another superb block. Reece Elliott-Paris scrapping for the ball, but that's where Ellis Lehane probably adds a bit more in attack, and that's the next stage in the development for Elliott-Paris. But actually, it was a clever foul because it halted the momentum of the Aston Villa breakaway. Spurs change, Adewale coming off here. Or is he? Oh, yes, he is. Well, we hit the 90. And it's the goalkeeper who comes to take this free kick. Maybe hasn't heard about Luca Williams-Barnett. And Luca Williams-Barnett leads the press. Here is Lott. Now McGrath. Well, Batty is onto it and should have probably just gone for a big clearance away. A Villa chance, and it's one blazed over the top of the bar. Well, it's another let-off. They've certainly had their moments in this game, Aston Villa. There is a lot to like about this group under Stuart Lewis. They play with real personality. And I think everybody associated with the academy would love them to go on to win the league. It's a massive ask. All of these fixtures that have been piled up at the end of the season after the cup run certainly will make it difficult. But they've gone about their business in a really wonderful style here in this game this afternoon. The question is, can they hold on and give themselves a fighting chance? Need to be careful that they don't get too caught up in the emotion of this game. Well, there's the flicked header. Aston Villa trying to make their way around the back. Tina Thompson felt that that should have been a goal kick. It's taken quickly here. He needs to face up, get out before the cross comes in. Well, the cross comes in, and free at the back of the area, Max Lott isn't found. And it's fair to say that Sam Archer won't be in a rush to get this one back in play. Scrapping and fighting all the way to the bitter end. Can Spurs hold on here? Aston Villa break. McGraw with another chance. He's allowed to cut in field. Bangura with a big challenge. Really is all hands on deck for Spurs now as they await another ball into the box. Need to get this away. Will this be the moment for Aston Villa? Not this time. Approaching the 5th minute of additional time. Steer goalwards. And Archer will waste valuable seconds. Spurs have done it. They've beaten title rivals Aston Villa. The dream of winning the league is alive. Very much alive for this under-18s group. It finishes Spurs 2, Aston Villa 1.